franchise contracts have operated in the past.
Yeah. So the opportunities for improvements or changes to take place during this period, one of the things that are often, in the previous model, one of the things that have often been a priority is for key changes to take place as part of an agreement for a new franchise. That's what's typically happened. That is not happening at the moment, and those communities who are in a difficult situation with their railways for whatever reason are not able, and I'd just say, Dorset is a good example, so I think we've shared before, we have not been able, for example, to feed back or say that actually from a new 6-year contract, the 3-hourly train service that we have on our railway line, we would like to be improved or something done about it. Where there are communities in that sort of situation and you're about to award a 6-year contract, there's been no consultation on this contract as such, how are you going to make sure that that's, those sorts of difficult community issues?
To be absolutely clear, I've not signed off any 6-year contracts that I'm aware of, and so I hear you saying you're about to do this. About to do this is news to me. So I'm not about to do something which cuts across Great British Railways and what we want to achieve. And I'd also stress the point that given that we are only in the recovery stage now from coronavirus, with perhaps 70 to 80% of the passengers back at most, I don't want to do things which would lock us in to, giving you a 3-hour example on the timetable now, to things in 6 years' time will look completely irrelevant. So rest assured, the committee can rest assured that I won't be allowing that to happen.
I should also say there's, I think, no question of us awarding 6-year contracts under the new model that we envisage as part of Great British Railways without consultation.
Just so I'm crystal clear, are you basically saying that's sort of misinformation on my part?
Let me check the timing of where, unless the Secretary of State has it.
To be quite honest with you, I hope I am wrong.
Well, it sounds.
I'm going to make sure you're wrong.
It sounds
right.
wrong.
That's my job. Yeah.
So what we're doing at the moment are the national rail contracts, which are shorter and which are much more of a sort of a business sort of an annual.
A lot of them come to expire imminently.
Indeed, and where we are, but we have choices about whether and for how long we extend. But we are seeking to lock in the changes. We are seeking to lock in improvements there. But you are right. There are some improvements which will be more readily negotiated, where a longer contract is on offer. But there's no question of us rapidly entering into those contracts, and certainly not doing so without extensive consultation, which of course we've always done in the past.
Thank you. Could I just ask them, typically, what is your next, given you've got some expiring imminently, possibly before new legislation comes forward, what would your typical length of new contract be, do you think, at this stage?
I think it would depend on the operation, because lines are different. If you've got a commuter line, it can be quite different to a long distance line, for example. But I think the criteria. I just want to reassure you, actually, because I wouldn't normally say this, but last night, so prior to coming here and not related to the select committee, I actually wrote a note on a memo to my private office to actually stress the point that you're making, unrelated to your particular line, just that I want to make sure that we leave ourselves maximum flexibility with the Great British Railway passenger service contracts, and these national contracts shouldn't cut across them. So just to reassure you on that. And then I don't have a specific time in mind. We know that legislation takes time to pass. We know it's in the next session. We'll want to allow ourselves flexibility during this session, but also during this Parliament.
Thank you.